Okay, so let's have a look at the navicular now. So if I just pick up my tools so I can start drawing. So we know that this is the talus, this is the calcaneum, and here we have the navicular. Okay, so the navicular on the medial aspect of the talus, of the tarsus, sorry. Okay, so the navicular lies between the talus and the cuneiform bones and is frequently described as being boat-shaped. The posterior surface of the navicular has a large oval, concave articular facet which articulates with the head of the talus. The anterior surface of the navicular is divided into 3 areas by a series of ridges, and the anterior surface of the navicular articulates with the cuneiform bones. If we have a look now at the cuboid, so let's pick up some details of the cuboid. So here is our cuboid. Okay, so the cuboid on the lateral aspect of the tarsus. So the cuboid lies at the lateral side of the tarsus, in front of the calcaneum and behind the 4th and 5th metatarsal bones. The posterior surface of the cuboid has an articular facet which articulates with the anterior end of the calcaneum. So here. The anterior surface of the cuboid is divided into 2 articular facets which articulate with the 5th and the 4th metatarsal. The upper surface of the cuboid is roughened and the lower or plantar surface is crossed obliquely by a groove at the lateral end of which is the tuberosity of the cuboid. The medial surface of the cuboid, along here, the medial surface, has near its middle an oval articular facet which will articulate with the lateral cuneiform bone. And remember, these are the medial, the intermediate, and the lateral cuneiform bones. So that's the navicular and the cuboid. We can have a look as well at the cuneiform bones. Okay, we've got a medial, an intermediate, and a lateral cuneiform bone. Now the medial cuneiform bone has a narrow, rough upper surface and a roughened medial surface. The lateral surface is concave and has an articular facet, and this articular facet articulates with the intermediate cuneiform bone. So we've got an articular facet along the lateral aspect of the medial cuneiform bone, and that's going to articulate with the intermediate cuneiform bone. But also a very small area of that articular facet is also going to articulate with the base of the 2nd metatarsal. Okay, so a small area there will articulate with the base of the 2nd metatarsal. Now the posterior aspect of the medial cuneiform bone has an articular surface which articulates with the navicular. The anterior surface of the medial cuneiform bone has an articular surface which is going to articulate with the base of the 1st metatarsal. Now thinking about the intermediate cuneiform, again its upper surface is roughened, very much like the medial. The medial surface of the intermediate cuneiform bone has an articular facet which will articulate with the medial cuneiform. The lateral surface of the intermediate has an articular surface which will articulate with the lateral cuneiform bone. So an articular surface here which is going to articulate with the lateral cuneiform bone. Posteriorly, there's an articular facet which is going to articulate with the navicular. So we're going to have an articular surface here to articulate with the navicular. And again, the anterior surface is going to have an articular surface to articulate with the second metatarsal. Now the lateral cuneiform bone we have to look at last, and this has a large oval articular facet which articulates with the cuboid. Okay, so we've got an articular surface here which is going to articulate with the cuboid. The medial surface of the lateral cuneiform bone has two articular facets, one which articulates with the intermediate cuneiform bone and the other which articulates with the base of the second metatarsal. The anterior surface of the lateral cuneiform bone has an articular surface which articulates with the third metatarsal. And the posterior surface of the intermediate has an articular surface which will articulate with the navicular. So that is the arrangement then of the tarsal bones.